to have everybody here. I flew in from Johannesburg yesterday morning. I'm going back tomorrow, so I've literally come to spend the day with you today. I am a Capetonian, by the way. Oh, it's a pleasure, man. Hey, I got chocolates to give away today, so just keep doing that. I am a Capetonian. All my family lives in Cape Town. I'm born and bred. Yeah, I live in Joburg because that's where the money is. And I visit Cape Town all the time, so I'm always down. I'm very excited to be working with the eAcademy Centre and Genesis with regards to making things happen in the industry. Lemice is a bit of everything, but she's today here to observe, to shadow with and to shadow me. And also Lemice is a trainer that we use down in Cape Town. My main industry that I take care of is the media industry, so the television industry. But I've worked in all industries. And I run the Sabido eAcademy, which is a training provider. But does anybody know who the Sabido group is? Never. Have you heard of ETV? Yes. eNCA? Yes. Okay, they own them. So the Sabido group owns ETV, eNCA, Sasani Studios, Cape Town, Awful Cape Town Film Studios, Arrowbus Services. I mean, there's a whole lot. Well, HCI does. You know HCI? So HCI, Hoskins Consolidated, owns Sabido. Sabido owns my company. Well, the eAcademy, but they also own ETV. So eNCA and ETV are my sister company. Okay. So, but I'm here today to talk about job readiness. What qualifies me to tell you or to share with you. So aside from being the managing director of the eAcademy, I represent the National Association of Broadcasters in terms of training and development. And have you all heard of the CETA?
Yes.
CETAs? Yes. I sit on the board of one of the CETAs, the Media ICT CETA. And that's the CETA that would oversee, for example, the ICANN Centre because of the information technology that's the IT that's happening with the world. So, but I'm traditionally from the IT space, went into media and now in education. Okay. So I'm going to share today, I said to you what qualifies me speaking to you in my very few years. Everybody says, okay, so let me shock you. I have, my youngest child is 24. Yes. I know, right? Yeah. So now you know where my experience comes from. I have three. Not to give too much away because I'll reveal later. But I have conducted over 5,000 interviews in my life, as in conducted interviews. And when ETV started setting up the eNCA channel, the news channel, I interviewed 3,000 people in a period of a couple of months to recruit about 210 people. And we had to do that in 3 months, basically. It was insane. I mean, from Monday to Sunday, I interviewed, and literally you got to the point of 20 minutes just to get through the interviews. In some cases, you'd have a group of people look around, to give them some activities, and go, okay, you come in, it's almost like that reality show. You come forward, please, the rest of you cheers. No, it depends on the job you're interviewing for, and I'll talk to you about different kinds of interviews today. So I have interviewed many people and also been very involved with aptitude testing with regards to profiling, so looking at what your competencies are. When I'm done by the end of the day, I'll give you websites that you can go to. I'll also give it to Llewellyn and Renee, and they can send it to you where you can actually do a self-assessment, because then you can go online and look at it and say, what am I best suited for? So I'm going to share those kind of things with you today, right? But the most important thing is getting you ready. If you've never had an interview, who here's never been for an interview before? Never. Wow, that's exciting though, eh? Well, then the rest of you has, right? Has anybody here been for interviews and never got a job? In other words, I mean, yeah. Well, what I mean is always. So in other words, you've just never got a job, even though you've gone to many interviews. What's your ratio like? 1 to 10, 50-50? You know, some people are just that lucky they go for interviews and they get every job they go for, and then they choose. You know those people, right? Damn it. They don't like it. My daughter's one of those people. Mom, I went for an interview. Okay. Mom, I got the job. It's like, geez, like a woman. And then about 2 weeks ago, for the first time ever, and she's 24. She went for an interview, but they didn't pick her. And she don't handle rejection well. I tell you, it was like, I wonder what I did wrong. Should I have said that? Should I have done this? And I'm saying, get over it. In life, there are some people who are better than you. It's just that simple. But it was quite a knock for her ego, I must tell you, because Christine believes that, well, Christine, she's not my doctor. I taught her that way. So what I'm saying is sometimes you're going to get those rejections, but in many cases you get it more than what you get the positive. And it's just dealing with that and how to move on. And also sometimes when you get the job, saying no. What? I've done that, and I'll share that with you. You shouldn't just be saying yes to accept the job just because, and I'll tell you why later, alright? So those are the kind of things we're going to share. I'd like it to be interactive though. Don't, at any time, don't hesitate. If you want to ask a question, just put your hand up. If it's something I'm going to deal with later, then I'll write it down and I'll say, let's deal with that just now. Otherwise, we address it immediately. So this is your session. The idea is that you walk away feeling like you have something in terms of knowledge, but something that can assist you in your path forward. And if you do decide that what you'd rather look at doing is becoming an entrepreneur, which means starting your own business, I can help you with that. I've just started an incubation program in Joburg. We're rolling it out in Cape Town and then Durban. And if you're interested, it would be in the media space though, like production and video and all of those kind of things. Then maybe that's something you come or you would say, and I'll do that in November when I come back to Cape Town, where we'll just look at the media space and starting that business. Cool? Okay. So anything relating to, if you've got a cell phone, who doesn't have a cell phone that's here? Everybody has. If you have a cell phone, you can make money. That's the point. No, you can. I'm not talking about porn, okay? Everybody, very nicely done. I can't help it. One day Nathaniel made this story up. But he got his chocolates. I give him 10 out of 10 for perseverance. Alright, so what we're going to do is, in a minute or 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to break and have a snack and a drink. But before we do that, I just want to quickly go through the iceberg and explain that to you. And then we'll go into interviewing, and then we're going to talk about positive experiences, okay? Thank you so much to the 3 gentlemen, Farwa, Chris, and Nathaniel for sharing. Awesome. So have you seen an iceberg before? Yes. Okay, how beautiful is that? You see that? So the Titanic would have hit something there, not there, because they didn't see, they didn't know. It was extremely misleading. So what happens is, and I mentioned relationships earlier, you get into a relationship, we see the tip of the iceberg. Okay? This gorgeous, beautiful, lovely person who pulls out the chair, opens the car door, phones you back, checks out your ticket. Ladies are all in agreement. Guys, but you also agree that in the first 3 months she wasn't needy, right? No, I'm sorry, I'm just saying. Yeah, come on, it's perception. So the tip of the iceberg is you see everything from the top, and it is beautiful. It is amazing. It's just, you're in awe, and everything is perfect. And then the dust settles and the honeymoon is over. Okay? Same thing, the job looks amazing. This company is fantastic. They're going to look after me. And then they pay you late. And then things start happening. So what this represents, the iceberg, what I'm showing you with the iceberg is to say that what people see at the top is not necessarily what's really going on. So this is what needs to happen underneath in order for that to appear. So if I take it further, there is your bottom and there is your top. So the top part is what people see, the knowledge, the skills and the experience. They see you doing something. You go in there, you can talk the talk, you can say, yes, I know how that works, I know how this works, I understand the theory of. But at the bottom is the deep-seated qualities. They say the behavior and the attitude, the values. So at the bottom of the iceberg is what really goes on. You know when you meet someone for the first time, you don't know why, but you don't like them. But you see them and you got the smile on your face. What's the smile? Hello. Because inside you're like, I don't know what it is, but I don't like this person. But the top, you're trying to show them that, you know what, it's okay, it's the visible. But inside, something's going on, and I'll always point to my guts because that's where your instinct is. So sometimes that person affects you in the sense where you don't like it, but you don't know what it is. You've never met them in your life, you've never spoken to them. It's not their fault, it's yours. Because quite frankly, it's your issues, my issues. If I meet somebody and the perfume they're wearing irritates me, chances are it might have been my ex-boyfriend's perfume. No, it is. And that smell triggers an emotion in me that gets me to react negatively towards a person, and it's got nothing to do with them, it's me. So when we go into a job, when we go into the environment, we get the same impact. We meet somebody, they're interviewing us, and they have, I don't know, facial expression or certain sounding voice, or their hair's standing up, or not. Or it's long and you don't like long hair because your ex had long hair. You know? No, but I'm saying you need to understand that we do so much in life where everything we do impacts on how we feel. But we don't realize sometimes what causes our feelings and our behaviors. We just know that we feel a certain way. So we go into jobs, we go into relationships, just into public, into just meeting people in general, and they have different reactions. We have different reactions to the impact that they make on us. It's got nothing to do with that person. You have to understand that first and foremost. It's got to do with me, who I am, how I'm feeling, and what led me to be thinking that way. So the iceberg, if you look at the iceberg effect, going back here, all I'm saying here is there's so much more to things in life than meets the eye, meaning that you see there. The tip of the iceberg, to explain the way that in general people talk about it, is that when you feel like you get into a point where something happens and then you go, no, but wait, that was just the tip of the iceberg. What people are implying is, I'm just telling you a little piece of what happened. In fact, there's so much more that went on, and that's what people are saying. The tip of the iceberg means there's a lot more coming. Okay? Or there's a lot more going on, or there's a lot more involved, but that we don't necessarily know, or maybe we do know, but we don't verbalize. So we're going to break now, but before we do, I said I would quickly share with you before we get into the actual tips we're interviewing. So I told you about this person, Natasha. What did I need to tell you? I need to tell people about this person, eh? So there's this person that I know, and she had a very tough upbringing, and all through her life, people had told her that she would never amount to anything, she would never succeed. And, you know, it's basic. She grew up in a horrible environment, unfortunately. She had brother and sisters. Mom had many brothers, and she grew up from a very, very young age, about 5 or so, where she was abused by the family, by the uncle, sexually abused, molested. She and her sisters, but she didn't know at the time. And she was the middle child. And the gist of it is she felt that, because I've done a lot of trauma counseling, learned a lot about human behavior. And she said that growing up, she felt that people never listened to her. She always felt insecure, so whenever she went anywhere, people would tell her, or she felt that people would tell her or imply that she's not good enough. So it would be treating her as if she weren't good enough, and she felt like she could never get anywhere. She'd go for meeting up with friends, she'd be the one standing in the corner. You know, if in the schools they would pick on her because she was the quiet one. She was never speaking up. So she was always bullied by the tougher ones in school. She did okay in school, but she went on to drop out of school. She fell pregnant when she was 16. And then she fell pregnant again when she was 17. But she doesn't learn she fell pregnant again when she was 20. So by the time this girl was 21, she was divorced with 3 children. And the father had no interest in the family. And basically, he just didn't want to be involved and never paid any support. But she didn't finish school, so she had a staggered age, she said, a grade 10, thank you so much. And she couldn't get jobs, so she went to work as a cashier in the Hyperama. So when she worked in the Hyperama, she said that one of the things she learned was that people would, and I mentioned a comment to you earlier, people would be friendly if she was friendly. But they would be rude if she was rude, and not rude per se, but depending on her mood. But sometimes you get these high maintenance people who come in there and just slap your stuff on the counter. And you just look at this and, you know, I'm thinking now I would experience, and you're thinking, who the hell do you think you are? Would you shut up? You bite your tongue and you just like, you know, carry on. And she said that what she realized is the friendlier she was, even if somebody rude came, they would start changing their attitude, or even if they were sort of sloppy. By the time they took the bag, they'd at least turn back and go, thank you. You know, so she started realizing it make a difference. In her first, I think she was temporary working there. I think at that stage she'd only had her 2 kids. No, she just had her 1 kid. In fact, she was 17 then. She was 16 pregnant, 17. And then she got the job because she needed to support, and then she got pregnant again. So when she was working at the Hyperama, she didn't have the second yet. And people would treat her the way that she would basically behave or feel, funny enough. And she said, if I felt like I went to work in a down mood, it's like everybody picked on me. But if I went to work in an okay mood, then people were nicer to me. And she said there was a lot of strikes at the time, so she always had to dodge through the people to get to work because the strikers were outside the hyperdrama. You know the hyperdrama? Hyperdrama. There was a lot of drama. You get it? So there's a lot of issues going on at the time, and she would bypass the people, but she'd get there, and you know, small white girl. And she'd get into the job. And the point I'm making is, after 2 months, the manager saw her behavior and moved her to the center kiosk where they sold biltong and chips and cigarettes. Yeah, no, I don't think she's good with that. But what she realized is, first and foremost, you know, when she was there, she was very hungry. She now had kids she needed to feed, or kids she needed to feed. It's easy to just grab one piece of biltong, nobody's going to notice. And after a while, you know, at least she looked forward to going to work, because now and then if a piece just happened to fall out of the bin, you can't put it back for the client, and you're going to throw it away, so you're just going to eat it. So she said that's how she fed herself. Well, not just for biltong, but that's how she made things work during the day she was starting. And then after 2 months, she was moved to the